Welcome to the SMB Community Podcast with hosts Amy Babinchek, James Kernan, and Carl Polachek. Produced by Kernan Consulting and for the international MSP community. We are dedicated to making every IT professional a successful IT professional. Hey everybody, welcome back to the SMB Community Podcast. This is James Kernan with Kernan Consulting live, and I have got an interesting guest today. I've got a marketing extraordinaire guru who all of you are going to love to hear from today, but I'm here with Tim Fitzpatrick of Rialto Marketing. Hey Tim, welcome.
James, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, cool, thanks. Hey, so we've had a good chat. I love what you guys are doing, and really, I think where we're going to end up and kind of the theme of today's session is, what can MSPs do marketing-wise to get more bang for the buck? We're going to talk about that. Before I dive into those questions, though, give everybody a little background, a little history on who Tim Fitzpatrick is.
Sure, I'll try and give you the Cliff Note version of my professional career. So when I graduated from college, I was a math major. I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do. My dad had been an entrepreneur for a long time. And one of the businesses he had was a wholesale distribution company, and he had no employees at the time. And I said, hey, I know you need help. Let me help you for the summer while I figure out what the heck I want to do. And James, 3 months in, I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I love this. And fortunately, he let me stay on. So I ended up running the distribution company. I learned more doing that in 6 months than I did in 4 years of college.
Wow.
We grew 60% a year on average for 9 years. And then we sold the business, stayed on for another 3 years. And then after that, I actually got laid off. So the company that bought us was a public company. This was in the 2008, 2009 timeframe. And we all know what happened there. They started freaking out. I got laid off. From there, I transitioned into residential real estate. I'd always been interested in it.
Okay.
I started door knocking on people that were in foreclosure and started doing short sale business. But, 2.5, 3 years in, I was waking up every day, James, like, oh my God, I have to do this all over again. This sucks. Yeah. I didn't like it. It wasn't a good fit for me. And what's the point now in a business if you're in that position? And so I took some time, I shifted gears, and that's what I got into marketing, which is what I'm doing today. My primary focus today is, helping MSPs, other B2B professional service firm owners build and manage their marketing engine so that they can grow faster.
Love it. I love it. Good for you. And I love the background that you said, but let me go way back to one of the first things you said. Now, those of you that can't see Tim, good looking guy, super sharp, but he's smart, not only because he has glasses on, but he was a math major. Hello, math major. So anyway, I was a finance major and then in sales and marketing. So we kind of have that in common, but anyway, congrats on your success and the wide range of experiences. I think that's what makes you so successful today. So tell everybody a little bit more about Rialto Marketing and what you guys do.
Yeah, so I for lack of a better term, I'm a marketing consultant, an advisor, or an outsourced or part-time marketing executive. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, what we do with clients is we help them build and manage their marketing engine so they can grow faster. And the way we do that is by removing revenue roadblocks in 3 areas of marketing. Okay. There's strategy, which I think of like fuel. There's planning, where we're outlining the marketing vehicles that you're going to use. And then leadership, where you got to have a driver. And that's either we jump into the driver's seat or we guide and advise the owner and their team so that they feel comfortable being that driver. If your marketing is going to work, you have to have all 3 of those things in alignment, and you got to remove the roadblocks that are in your way. Yeah. So that's kind of where I live. I do not get tactical with marketing. I'm not the person creating social posts or, I said this to you before we jumped on. I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to marketing tactics. I just want you to employ what makes the most sense for you based on where you are and where you want to get to.
Got it. Okay. And again, that's kind of the brains behind marketing. It's all about the strategy. The strategy makes all the difference in the world. So let's talk about, what would be a strategy for MSPs today. There's listeners all around the world listening in on this, but let's maybe just kind of hone in just in general. What would be some of the strategy that you would think about?
Look at. So, James, when I think about strategy, I think about a few main things. The first is your target market and who your ideal clients are within that market. To me, everything from a marketing standpoint is built from that foundation. And exactly. If you skip that, again, thinking of strategy like fuel, you got vehicles, but you have no fuel, and that's not going to work well. MSPs do this. A lot of businesses in every industry that I've ever been involved in do the exact same thing. They jump right to the tactics. I need to have a website. I got to have a podcast, or I need to do email marketing, but they don't have that foundation or that fuel behind it. You have to understand the market you serve and who your ideal clients are within that market, first and foremost. Otherwise, you're like throwing spaghetti up against a wall, hoping something's going to stick.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Most business owners, I kind of joke. I'll use the analogy of a business plan. When sometimes I'm on stage, I go, "Okay, who wants to hire me for $25,000 to write a 50-page business plan?" And then, of course, no arms are going to go up, right? And I say, "Well, good news is, I just wanted to ask first in case there was any takers, but we don't have the patience to do a big, sophisticated, plan like that. I always like doing the 1-page business plan. It'll take us, 20 to 30 minutes to complete together. When I do assessments on the business side, that's kind of how I start, jokingly. But my whole point is it really all starts with understanding more about the business. And a lot of people want to just skip over that. It's the microwave in all of us that want to move too quick. But let's talk about the strategy a little bit more. Like, how do you gather that information, Tim? Is it through just questions, questionnaires, assessments? What is your onboarding look like so you understand that? Because that's so important.
Yeah. So when there's multiple ways you can do this and multiple levels of this.
Okay.
But to me, the simplest place to start, like most of us don't need to reinvent the wheel here, James. I mean, especially if you've been in business for a while, the best place to start is your existing and past clients. And I call them the 3 power questions. Who do you love working with? And by the way, if you love working with them, usually they love working with you.
Yeah.
2, who are your most profitable clients? Okay. If we're going to stay in business, we got to make money. There's nothing wrong with that.
Makes sense.
So we need to look at profitable clients. And profitable clients is not necessarily top line. We want profit.
Good profit. Right.
Right. And then 3rd, who are we getting great results for? If we can work with clients like that check all 3 of those boxes day in, day out, we're happier as the business owner. Our team is going to be happier. Our clients are going to be happier. What happens? Clients are going to stay longer. They're going to want to refer us, right? Those are all good things. So I start with the 3 power questions to get this subgroup of current and past clients. And then we start to dig deeper into what do these people look like? What are the shared attributes that they have? This could be from a demographic standpoint, right? From a numbers standpoint.
Yeah.
But equally, if not more important, are the psychographics. Like, what's going on with them? What are their thoughts? What are the problems they have? The results they're looking for, their goals, their aspirations, all of that. And what typically ends up happening, James, is these groups with commonalities come to the surface. Okay. Right? And it's those groups that we can start to look at and go, we've got some ideal clients in here.
Right.
And let's focus on that. Right? Because most of us don't have unlimited budgets. And when that's the case, we have to be very targeted. Frankly, we should be very targeted with our marketing anyways. But we've got to be targeted and make sure that we're getting in front of the right people all the time. We don't want to cast a wide net hoping that we're going to catch the exact fish that we're looking for.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So when you're doing the strategy, do you get involved in the messaging?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So messaging is the next roadblock, right? First, it's your target market and your ideal clients. Then it's, what the heck do I say to these people?
Right.
What do I say to these people that, one, is going to engage and attract them, but two, differentiate my business?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of MSPs struggle with differentiation, right? You go to 5 MSP websites, hold the logo off, it's the same flavor of message. And when we look the same to a potential prospect, what do they default to? They default back to price. Mm-hmm. And competing on price is a horrible place to be.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the worst place to be. So, okay, I love it. So what would a normal engagement look like for you, Tim? And then how long does that take?
Yeah. There are multiple ways that we engage with clients. One can be just on a project basis, where we might do target market work and messaging work, help them create their messaging playbook, or we might create their marketing plan for them. Okay. My ideal clients tend to fall into a service. I call it a marketing advisor on call, right? You're in a position where you're investing in marketing, but as the owner, you're trying to manage it. And it's really difficult to manage something when it's not in your wheelhouse.
Right.
That's the gap we fill, right? We're looking over your shoulder as you implement and execute to help you when you get stuck. We're there to give you feedback. But the way we start that engagement, it's a month-to-month engagement. Okay. I always tell people, look, you have to think of this long-term. Like, this is not a 3-month thing. Most clients that go into that, we work with for at least 12 to 18 months. Okay. But we start by putting an initial plan together, and that plan then outlines what we're going to focus on each and every month to make sure that they implement and execute.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I love that you're month to month. Okay. But I think you just said something else really important. Normally you work with them 12 to 18 months. And I think I know why, but how long does it typically take for you to start seeing positive results into the business owner's expectations? What does that look like? I know that's all over the map.
Yeah, it is all over the map. It depends on where they are. Here's what I'll say. There are always quick win opportunities that we're working on identifying initially, because a lot of the upfront work that we're doing in the first 3 months is more strategic, which is laying that foundation that we've talked about. But there's always opportunities to get quick wins. So for example, a lot of MSPs are growing on referrals. How are you getting referrals? We just do great work. It just happens. There's no system. There's no process for requesting referrals. There's no referral program. That's an example of low-hanging fruit that can be done almost immediately while you're working on strategy. But marketing is a long-term investment. It is not a short-term thing. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's working with me or working with somebody who's actually doing more implementation work, if you're doing it thinking like 3 months is going to be roses, you're not going to be happy. Like I said, I mean, typically we'll start to see some traction within that 6-month window, but it can take 9 to 12 months before you really start to see. Yeah. Think of it like a flywheel, right? You're feeding it and it's slowly building momentum. And once it gets that momentum, then we just want to keep feeding it. So you're going to be unhappy if you go into marketing with a short-term mindset.
Yeah. And I was just going to emphasize what you just said, because I think it's really important to set expectations of all the listeners. And there's a lot of you are veterans, you know what you're doing. A lot of you are newer to the industry. But back to Tim's point, marketing is something you should be doing all the time. I've always said marketing is the oxygen of your business. You know, you can't start and stop it. That gives me a heart attack. And I hear this all the time with people in our peer groups. It's like, James, the true story, in December this year, I was on a real peer group call, Tim, you'll laugh at this. And he said, there's always that static, right, between sales and or right, sales and operations. Well, he said, he goes, well, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I closed 8 deals and my team is onboarding 8 new clients all in December right now, 1 month. And he said, the bad news is they said no more. We can't take on any more customers. And then jokingly, it's like, well, not jokingly, I said, no, don't ever stop marketing. You got to keep marketing. All you do, raise your price. If you get a deal, quote it and just quote it really high and, it'll kind of work itself out. But anyway, I love what you were saying because it's a long-term approach. It should be something that you budget moving forward. Now, do you work with the companies and do any kind of cooperative or joint venture marketing so the MSP is not eating that expense 100% themselves? Do you get involved in any of that with other strategic partners?
You can. I don't tend to a lot. I think within the MSP space, the other opportunity that is often overlooked is our co-op or MDF funds from the vendors.
Right.
And so depending on the size of your MSP, understanding what's out there and what you need to do to qualify for those funds, I think is super, super important. I was actually having a conversation with a gentleman this morning who specialized in helping partners in the Microsoft ecosystem. And he's like, man, you'd be shocked how many people we speak to that like they have MDF funds from Microsoft and they have no idea they're there.
Right. Yeah, we talk about that often. I think that's an important piece to marketing because it doesn't always have to be your money. It can be your partner's money. You've earned it. You just need to, ask for it, and do what you need to get that money back. Yeah, I think that's important. Something else I wanted to highlight, Tim, you said that resonated with me. I always said that, your low-hanging fruit, the easiest sale is your existing customer. And a lot of people don't stay close to their current customers. They spend too much time chasing after new customers, right? So what are you seeing of staying sticky with your existing customers? I think you just kind of hinted about the referral campaign, but what other things are you seeing besides that?
Yeah. So, and I mean, again, this is not complicated, James. It's, it's much cheaper to get referrals or to do more business with your existing clients than it is to generate a new lead. Having a referral program in place and then looking at what are we doing to retain current clients? Do we have a retention process? How are we staying in front of existing clients, right? Mm-hmm. Another tool here that is often overlooked is email marketing. What are we doing to stay in front of our ideal clients? One of the huge advantages that MSPs have is the back-end support. Right. With back-end support, gosh, when you solve a support ticket, God, what a great way to generate potential referrals, kind of highlight how great it is to work with you, get additional reviews. That's an awesome way to continue to retain clients. But from a retention standpoint, email marketing is huge. Having a process for how you're going to stay in front of people and how you're going to generate referrals, that's all very, very low-hanging fruit for MSPs.
Got it. Okay. No, that's awesome. Well, hey, good stuff. We're going to be running out of time. So before we depart, a couple things. One, let everybody know, how can they get in touch with you? What's the easiest way to connect with Tim Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, 2 ways. Our website, which is rialtomarketing.com. That's RIALTO marketing.com. Okay. All the links to our social are there. Search for my name on LinkedIn. I'll come up there. The other tool I'll make available to the audience is at revenueroadblockscorecard.com. So we started talking about some of these roadblocks today. When we work with clients, we help them remove roadblocks in 9 areas of marketing. that all fall under those three main topics: strategy, planning, and leadership. At Revenue Roadblock Scorecard, they can identify which of the 9 roadblocks are slowing down their growth. Takes less than 5 minutes, customized report. There's a ton of value there. So those two places, rialtomarketing.com and revenueroadblockscorecard.com.
Okay, revenueroadblockscorecard.com. Okay,
yep.
Awesome. I'm gonna drop these in the show notes, so it'll be up on the website. Reach out to Tim. Make sure you follow him on social media. The more marketing you do, the more successful you will be. So make sure you pay attention to what Tim is doing out there on social media and reach out. But hey, Tim, thanks for being on the program today. It's been great to have you share some words of wisdom and great to connect with you.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Appreciate it.